Hello, BookTube. I want to do a tiny little brief check-in about new books. It's not really a mail haul because there's only one package that we're going to open. I want to show you two books. One is a package that I'll open. Another one is one that I got recently that I opened off camera. I'm opening a lot of books off camera. That's not good. But I want to show you to you in case some of you missed it. I held it up in last night's Steve stream, but I think I did it at hour 2, so you might have missed it. And it occurred to me that some of you might be interested in this and might not watch the Steve stream. And this is the new thing by Craig Johnson that comes out in November, I think. This is Tooth and Claw. It's a Longmire short story. It's a Longmire novella. It's called a Longmire story, but it's a novel. It's 200 pages long. So, and it follows our main character, Walt Longmire, as he deals with human bad guys, of course, yes, but also with a polar bear. A polar bear that comes very close to the giant fish in Jaws in terms of human malevolence. That's not much of a stretch when it comes to polar bears because they are like that. Genuinely. They are like that. They plot and they remember and they resent in a way that grizzly bears and black bears do not. They are absolutely terrifying to encounter in the wild. Let me just put it that way. I'm fairly certain that I'm the only person on BookTube who has ever encountered one of these things in the wild. And they are terrifying to encounter in the wild. They can appear literally out of thin air, with you scanning everywhere, and then suddenly this 7-foot-tall, 1-ton thing is right there. And they're pretty cold and calculated. Grizzly bears, you can count on them being homicidal maniacs. So they will either have nothing to do with you because they're cursing the whole world, or they'll want to kill you and nothing you can do will have any effect on them one way or another. Polar bears are different. They think. They don't like you. They very much want to eat your entrails at room temperature. But they think about it. And they look around and they play the odds and they test for parameters and perimeters and weaknesses, and they remember the weaknesses, and all that is done really well in this book. I needless to say, I blew right through this thing. I loved it. I love the Longmire books anyway. I don't know that this even gives me a description. I think this is just Unbound Galley pages. Yeah, there's nothing in here at all. I mentioned on the Steve stream last night that there is an epigraph here. One of the two epigraphs, one of them is a quote from Tennyson, the whole thing about nature red in tooth and claw. But the other one is a proverb, a bear country proverb. If it's black, fight back. If it's brown, lie down. If it's white, say goodnight. And that, as I said last night on the Steve stream, that refers to the behavior that you should exhibit when you encounter the three various kinds of bears in the wild. If you encounter a black bear, fight. Raise your hands up, make lots of noise, challenge the animal. Black bears will almost certainly run. They do not want to fight. An average black bear will be about roughly the same size as a large human male. Nowhere near, a human male doesn't have anywhere near the amount of power, but animals typically don't like, unless they're caught up in the frenzy of mating, they typically don't like even odds. Normal animals usually don't like to fight something their own size. So with a black bear, if you encounter one and it seems to be showing you attention, now keep in mind, that isn't going to be true. Except in a small fraction of the time, bears don't want anything to do with you and will long since know you're there before you have any idea that they're there, and they'll just leave. They'll give you a wide berth. You will never know how close you came to one. But if you encounter a black bear that is paying you attention, that's of course bad. That's very bad. You don't ever want a bear to pay you attention. And if you encounter a black bear that's paying you attention, the whole idea is to make yourself big, hold your coat up on your hiking poles to make yourself look 10 or 15 feet tall, yell, make noise, bang on pots, to discourage the black bear. If it's black, fight back. And that's especially true if all of that fails. And the black bear decides to attack you anyway, actually decides to try to eat you. Well, then the advice that you get in that situation from park rangers and whatnot is fight. Fight as bad as you can. Fight literally for your life. It might work. It might work. Whereas with the grizzly bear or a brown bear, the idea is you don't do anything like that because grizzly bears are much, much bigger than black bears, much more powerful, and they're always in a bad mood. They're much more aggressive than black bears. So if you meet one of those and it starts to show you attention, that's very, very bad. You'll know a grizzly bear, regardless of its color, because it'll have a hump on its back. It'll have a dished face. And also, like all other bears, except polar bears, who are eerily quiet, a black bear and a grizzly bear, when they are agitated, when they're not viewing you as part of the scenery anymore, you're starting to bug them. They're starting to have curiosity about you or even nervousness about you. They'll start to click their jaws. They do a particular kind of clicking with the jaws. Their lower jaw will jut out a little. Their lip will flibber a little. And they'll make that odd clicking noise. That's not good. You don't want that behavior in a bear who's anywhere near you. But the idea is that if a grizzly bear does that and starts to show you attention, you don't fight back. You don't get aggressive, because the thing will just kill you. It will just kill you and eat you. Whereas the key with the grizzly bear is to try and get it to lose interest. So if it is going to attack you, if it's not going to attack you, if it's not closing the distance, then calmly, quietly back away at an angle, not directly back, and definitely don't look at the bear. Calmly, quietly, with a steady voice saying, it's all right, it's your world, it's your path, I'll be going. Not to excite the thing. Don't do anything that approaches a scream. Don't do that at all. But if you're doing that and the bear is still showing interest, then the bear has decided that it wants to explore the possibility of eating you. And if that's true with a grizzly bear, unlike with a black bear, lay down on your face. Put your abdomen on the ground. Don't leave your abdomen exposed. Leave your backpack and maybe a folded tent or whatever on your back. And put stuff, gloves, snowshoes, maybe interlaced fingers, behind the back of your neck. Because the grizzly bear is going to want to bite you there in order to sever your spinal cord so that you are alive, but you can't resist. So that it can eat you at 98.6 degrees Fahrenheit for a long time before you cool off. That grizzly bears snap the necks of their prey. So you want to try to prevent that from happening. Of course, if the grizzly bear wants to do that, nothing you can do is going to stop it, any more than anything you can do would stop it from biting open your head. They will often do probing bites on your skull, and if they bring down any kind of pressure, that's 3,000 pounds per square inch, they'll snap your head like an egg. But they often won't do that. Grizzly bears are particularly lazy. So if you do that, if you lay down and protect your vitals, it might rip you up a bit or rip up your stuff a bit and then lose interest and wander away. As I said in the Steve stream last night, if God forbid anything like this should ever happen to you, do not get up and bolt away when that happens. The bear has not gone far. The bear is watching you. The first time it wanders away, it has not gone far. It is watching to see what you do. Wait it out. As I said last night, all of your instincts are going to be screaming at you to get up and run. You seal your own fate if you do that, because you won't have the strength of mind or the patience to protect yourself a second time, and the bear will know that it's fake anyway. So wait for the bear to go. In most cases, you will be able to hear the bear walking off. They make a lot of noise, especially when they don't think they need to worry about anything. So you'll be able to hear that you no longer have the bear's company. Don't get up right away. And then there's the third part of that bear country proverb, which is, if it's white, say goodnight. And that is because there is nothing to be done about a polar bear. If you've got an extremely high-powered firearm, extremely high-powered, maybe, you might be able to discourage the bear, or you might be able to get off a fatal shot before you're killed. It's extremely unlikely, but you might be able to do that. Or, in the case of some hunters, and also one traveler that I could name, if you have a large contingent of dogs, especially huskies. So, 70 to 80 pounds each, and you've got a dozen of them. Well, an adult polar bear is not, they might be furious, but they're not going to want to risk that. They know they'll lose. They know that's not winnable. If that pack is acting in unison, if that pack it knows what it's doing, then two will rush in for the nose. Bear will take a swipe, probably miss both of them. While it's swiping at them, two will rush in to the unprotected flank. Go for the gonads. Go for the anus itself. Go for the tail. Savagely, though, with 90 pounds of weight and 4,000 pounds of jaw pressure. So not a nibble. Not at all. something the bear will definitely notice, swings around to where that pain is, and the minute it's swiping at those two people, and since it's outraged and pained, it will probably miss them, two other people go in for the armpits, or the abdomen, or the throat, or the nose again, and so on and so forth. The pack is not getting tired. The bear is getting tired, and they know that. On some level, they know that. But if you don't have that, and you're not going to have that, it's over. It's just over. Because they're 9 feet tall, and they're the biggest bear in the world. And they're incredibly quiet, and incredibly fast, and unbelievably strong, and they can go anywhere. They can go anywhere. They're not particularly good climbers, because there's nothing for them to climb, but boy, are they good swimmers. Boy, are they good swimmers. You have not experienced terror until you have been looking over the side of a vessel on the water, the black water, Arctic water, when you see one of these things come rocketing up from below. They're not going to jump onto your boat, but they definitely want to rocket and maybe see if they can knock you into the water. They know what they're doing. So it's doom. That's where that proverb comes from. If it's black, fight back. If it's brown, lie down. If it's white, say goodnight. And naturally, given Walt Limewire's bad luck, he encounters a polar bear that starts to take things personally in the climax of this book. It's terrific. Absolutely terrific. I don't have any details on this thing at all, so I don't know if this is going to be marketed as a novella. Is it going to come out as a thin hardcover for less money? Is it going to come out as a paperback? No idea, but I wanted to put it in front of you because it is so enjoyable. And also, Craig Johnson does a really good job. I was noticing it in this book. He does a really good job in making you welcome if you've never read another Walt Longmire book. So maybe don't worry too much about that, although if you haven't read the Walt Longmire stuff, definitely watch. Not watch. The TV show of Walt Longmire is great. Watch the first episode with Lou Diamond Phillips. But definitely go to the first book and read the whole series. Oh my God, you'll have so much fun. These are so good. But this latest one is it's a shorter thing. It's like a novella, and I thought it was really effective. So I wanted to make sure that I got that in front of you. And now we'll do this one package, which has a pleasing amount of weight to it. So it could be something nice and big, which would be good. It would be good. What have we got here? Oh, fantastic. Okay. I can't quite remember if we saw this. This comes out in late September. Oh, my. This is by Bruce Gordon, and it is The Bible, A Global History. Oh, fantastic. All right, this got a star review from Publishers Weekly. The Bible is the most influential book in human history. Today, it is the foundation of a global religion with 2.5 billion adherents, almost a third of the world's population. This sacred text transforms its readers with luminous wisdom, but also bewilders with contradictions. It has been repeatedly translated, corrected, and copied around the world by people who have wanted to know what God actually said. God never said anything. Yet there never was a single original text. Right, because people wrote this thing. Over and over again wrote it. In this book, the author tells the astounding story of the Bible's journey around the globe and across more than 2,000 years, showing how it has shaped and been shaped by changing beliefs and believers' radically different needs. Each community has read, heard, and seen the Bible through its own culture, language, and traditions. It inspires and confounds, for people take it up its words and come to radically different conclusions. God speaks with one voice, but the people to whom God speaks are scattered and divided. God does not speak with one voice. He doesn't speak at all. This is all human. The humans wrote this thing. That's why it has so many contradictions. Maybe the writer of this pub sheet is a believing Christian, but I am not, and you shouldn't have to be to read this thing. God does not speak with one voice. That is a religious claim. No one's ever heard God speak, so no one knows whether he speaks with one voice or not. This is supposed to be in the inerrantly inspired word of God, and it's contradicted in every word. So, but anyway, let's see here. Those people to whom God speaks are scattered and divided. They're found in desert monasteries and Chinese house churches, Byzantine cathedrals, and Guatemalan villages. It is a book of the world and a book intensely local. Oh, that's good. That's very good. Breathtakingly global in scope. Okay, this is only 400 pages long. This book tells the story of this sacred book through the narrative of its many and diverse human encounters, revealing not a static text, but a living, dynamic cultural force. Right, but according to all the religious claims about this book, it is by definition static. And yet it is not. So those claims are wrong. The author has studied, discussed, and taught the Bible and its influence over 30 years. This book is an attempt at the impossible, to tell the journey of the Christian Bible through the ongoing human effort to hear God. It is a story of a book that, in both the presence and absence of faith, has left no one untouched. Well, that's certainly true, isn't it? That's certainly true. This has blurbs from Alec Ryrie. Wow. Willie James Jennings, Philip Jenkins, Andrew Pettigrew. Oh, Christian Wyman. Fantastic. Okay. And the author, there is our author. He is the Titus Street Professor of Ecclesiastical History at Yale Divinity School and has appointment in Yale's Department of History. Okay. Raised in Canada, he lives in Vermont. 6 of one, half a dozen of another. All right, so great. Fantastic. This comes out in the 3rd week in September. The Bible, A Global History. How incredible. So we have the Bible, and we have Tooth and Claw about a giant killer polar bear. So that is the mail for today. I think more is coming. I will work harder at not opening stuff off camera. That's bad. But it's like one of you said. One of you actually told me, you can actually just show us stuff that you've opened off camera. We don't have to watch you open it. Truer words were never spoken. So there you go. A little bit of mail for a beautiful, beautiful Wednesday. I will wrap this up for now, but I'll be back. Thank you, BookTube.